It was a moment that stopped everyone in their tracks on BDC's Antiques Roadshow. The kind of moment that makes you lean forward, jaw slightly agape, wondering, did that just happen? And believe me, it absolutely did. An expert, almost speechless with a mix of awe and a little bit of playful indignation, stumbled upon an item so disgusting it was, frankly, magnificent. And the valuation? Well, let's just say it was enough to make even the most seasoned collector's eyes pop. From horrible to 100 grand, the metal mystery. Picture this. Two guests, looking a tad sheepish, presented two cases crammed full of what looked like old, tarnished metal. These weren't just any old bits of metal, though. These were war medals, dating all the way back to the early 19th century. But here's the kicker. They were in what the guests themselves described as horrible condition. We're talking seriously neglected. The kind of neglect that makes you want to reach through the screen and gently dust them off yourself. Enter Mark Smith, the show's resident metal guru. You could almost see the questions forming in his mind as he peered at the sad state of affairs. His first, perfectly understandable, query to the guests: "I've got to ask first of all, what have you done to them?" Their response, delivered with a shrug and a slight wince: "Well, we obviously haven't looked after them very well. Understatement of the year, perhaps." And it wasn't just the dirt. Oh no, it was more. One medal, quite comically, was displayed upside down. All of them were so caked in grime that, as Smith pointed out, I can't see what it says around the rim because they're so dirty you can't actually rate them. You could barely make out an 1808 date on one, and others hinted at the Syrian conflict in 1840. This wasn't just dusty. This was a historical treasure buried under layers of, well, who knows what. Hat truly floored the audience, and perhaps even Smith himself, was the guests' rather peculiar reaction to their own family heirlooms. They inherited these medals, believed to be from a father and son, but the true identities of the brave souls who earned them were lost to time, obscured by the very condition of the medals. And their take on the men behind the medals? They described them as pretty ugly. A rather dismissive, almost flippant, assessment of individuals who likely faced unimaginable hardships. It was a stark contrast to the reverent tone usually adopted by those presenting historical artifacts. But then, a glimmer of excitement. A flicker in Mark Smith's eyes that told us something big was about to happen. Amidst the horrible and manky collection, he spotted a Syrian medal with 5 clasps. Now, for those not in the know, clasps on a medal indicate the number of engagements or campaigns a soldier participated in. More clasps mean more action, more bravery, and, crucially, more rarity. Smith's voice escalated with genuine astonishment. 3 clasps, almost unheard of. 4, no, 5, wow. You have 5, wow. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated passion from an expert who clearly lived and breathed military history. You could feel his excitement, his almost disbelieving joy, despite the appalling condition of the very items he was so thrilled about. His passion boiled over, leading to a remark that has since become legendary on the show. Addressing the guests with a mix of exasperation and deep affection for the medals, he declared, "You have kept these in the most appalling condition that I have ever seen in any medals ever, and you need to give them to me so I can love them." It was a plea, a demand, and an expression of pure, unadulterated care for these historical artifacts, delivered with a warmth that was anything but robotic. He wasn't just appraising, he was advocating for the very soul of these medals. The guests, likely still grappling with the "give them to me so I can love them" comment, then asked about restoration. Smith, ever the expert, offered practical advice. Take the little screws off the back and see about returning them to their original spots. Simple enough, right? But then came the bombshell, the moment that cemented this Antiques Roadshow appearance in the annals of television history. Smith paused, a dramatic beat that felt like an eternity. He looked at the guests, then at the medals, and then back at the guests, letting the suspense build. And then he dropped it. "I sat down and thought about this, that you've kept these medals in this awful condition, and they're worth £100,000, $137,000. The silence was deafening. The guests would just casually describe the men who earned these medals as pretty ugly, and the medals themselves as horrible and manky, were utterly, completely, hilariously speechless. Their jaws dropped. The realization of the massive six-figure sum, the potential fortune hidden within their family heirlooms. Heirlooms they seemed so indifferent to just moments before. Hit them like a freight train. Smith then drove the point home, explaining the mind-blowing rarity of medals with 5 clasps, even for someone who spends their life surrounded by history. Even in naval museums, he emphasized, you don't see this. These weren't just valuable, they were practically museum quality, despite their neglected state. It was a testament to the sheer historical significance and rarity that even appalling condition couldn't diminish their worth. The Badger Hole billionaire, well, 1,000-pounder. But wait, there's more. Because the Antiques Roadshow is a treasure trove of unexpected finds, this wasn't the only time a seemingly insignificant object turned out to be a goldmine. Another guest on the BBC show, Sue Gilroy from Ridley, Kent, had a similar, albeit slightly less six-figure, shock. Her story began with a perfectly normal walk, until she spotted something glinting near the entrance to a badger hole. Yes, a badger hole. Curiosity piqued. She investigated and found an odd gold band. She cleaned it up, a simple act, and gave it to her daughter Charlotte, who, charmingly, loved wearing it. But Sue, with a nagging feeling of intrigue, decided to take it to the experts. And what did the experts reveal? That this unassuming gold band, found in a badger's burrow, was a romantic memorial ring, or mourning ring, dating from the early 1700s. Imagine that, a piece of history, a whisper of a bygone love, unearthed from the earth by a badger. These rings, the experts explained, were often crafted and worn by the bereaved in the wake of a lover's passing, a tangible symbol of enduring affection and sorrow. Sue's particular ring was even more poignant. It featured a centerpiece that cradled several strands of hair, a deeply personal touch, and a pair of intertwined initials. And if that wasn't enough to tug at your heartstrings, an inscription was lovingly engraved inside. When this you see, remember me. Can you even begin to fathom the stories this tiny ring could tell? The lives it witnessed, the tears it absorbed, the love it represented? The experts on the BBC show valued this incredibly personal and historically rich ring at £1,000, $1,350. Not a six-figure sum like the medals, but still a remarkable discovery for something found by chance. As Sue herself told the Daily Express UK, I spotted the ring only because I came across freshly dug earth around a badger hole. We can make out that one of the 2 entwined initials might be a letter A, a testament to paying attention to the world around you, and to the hidden treasures waiting to be discovered, sometimes in the most unlikely of places. These stories from Antiques Roadshow aren't just about money. They're about the incredible narratives woven into everyday objects, the forgotten histories, and the shocking power of uncovering something truly extraordinary right under your nose. They remind us that history isn't just in museums. It's often tucked away in dusty attics, neglected boxes, or even, as we've seen, in a badger's hole. So, what about you? Have you ever stumbled upon something that seemed ordinary, but turned out to be anything but? Perhaps it's time to take a closer look at those forgotten trinkets in your own home. You never know, you might just be sitting on a hidden fortune, a piece of history, or a story waiting to be told.